Hello there, I'm Reemerarius, 57, and I'm set up today. First of all, whoopsie-doo. So I explained it in the description, but on the previous devlog, I noted that it was uploaded, but because it was so long, it took longer than usual. It didn't take super long, but because it was one of the situations where I had it uploading, I walked away to do other stuff, and for some reason my brain was sure I had set it up to post for Friday, and I did not. So it was there, it just wasn't public. So my apologies on that front. So it ended up, was it Sunday? I ended up fixing that. I just didn't realize because I just got distracted and stuff was happening. But I think we're okay. I think we're all good. It's whoopsie-doo, whatever. Even this one, I'm recording, it is a Tuesday because the rest of my week might be a little busy and I don't know if I'll have time to give anything like an update. What? So here's something I was doing because I had done, pardon me, hold on, I need something to drink. All right, so I had done a couple models and I'm figuring out what other people look like, right? But I decided, well, maybe I should tackle the background art, because I'm at a weird point where I'm kind of sitting here thinking, do I like the artistic direction the characters are going in? Because it's yes, but also no. I don't know how to describe it. I'm wondering if some of the situations where I should just sit down and accept it. And when I say that, I mean if it's just one of those trust the process kind of moments. So I thought maybe if I could figure out more about what the world's gonna look like and how I'm gonna represent that in art, it would give me a better idea of how I want to go about designing the characters before I get too deep into designing the characters and I'm this is not coming together. So unfortunately, this is not going to be showcasing too much of that. This is really just a smaller update about what I'm trying to accomplish next, because I made a list, and this list I went through because can I show you that? Let me look at it. You can't really see all too much on it, I don't think. And some of the stuff is subject to change, because some of it I really do want to rewrite. It was earlier renditions of this. So I think it won't hurt to give you a peek. So let me move this down here. Let me shape this. So what you're looking at is the first go, well, partially the first go of the story. And some of this is some test stuff. It's not actual entries. Coming down here from the title screen down is actual entries, some of which is subject to stains, some of it is just placeholders. So this is so far just the stuff I put in. Not everything is in here. So up in here, for example, these were just to note the beginning of each section and they branch off. So my problem I'm having, so I've noted each one of these areas so far, and that's sort of what this list is for background art. My issue is, right, for example, the key areas are going through. If you look at our first one, you have this lot here. The issue I'm having with that is, for some of them, they can keep the same background and it's just you and the character, But some of them, I'm not sure how to note it down is the issue. because I'm concerned. I went through it, right? And I think off the top of my head, at first glance, it's like, okay, this is good. Every area is going to have a background specifically for that area. But I kind of know some areas change up. So I don't know if it's like, should it be consistent, right? And every area just has one background. Or should I make a background every time the location changes, even if you are technically in the same area? Because I think, like, one of these, for example, like the publicized pool, you don't start off where the pool is. You start off somewhere else, and then you make it to the pool. But it's really like two areas, right? So I'm sitting here thinking, I mean, I'd have to, because, like, the pool's important, but to just throw you there when you're not actually there. So making a proper list is a little... I don't think I'm gonna... I hate this. Because I would have to go through what I've written for each area and make the list that way, instead of, like, sort of skimming over and be like, well, we have these areas because what's going on in the areas. And I think the reason I'm so fussy about it, right? I'm the only one working on this. This is a lot of art. This is already a long list of images that I'm gonna have to make. Because the way I'm thinking I'm gonna make it, it's going to be more than likely collage work. And I have to be careful where I get my images from. Because there's, like, how do I word this? So when it comes to collage work, right? If you do enough, it's considered transformative in nature. And it's a whole new brand new piece, right? And you can't really get in trouble if you're using the stuff that you've used in the collage work. But if you're not careful and it's not transformative enough, then you can have, depending on where you get your images from, you can risk running into issues. Most people don't really care as long as the collage work isn't offensive. It's not really worth fussing with you about, you know? But on the off chance, right, that there's that one person who's like, how dare you? So I have to be careful where I'm getting my stuff from. And there's actually like a fair amount of free to use kind of images out there. You just have to find the right source. My only one, I do have a small concern that some places, like I think, for example, the Smithsonian has like just an archive of images that are free to use. So I believe, I'm gonna double check, but I believe something like that is safe for me to use for the specific project. If I was just making it to make it, I just pull from every old thing. But because there's a chance I can make money off of this, I have to be careful. I don't want to step on anyone's toes. So, for example, I believe the Smithsonian did release like a whole archive of images that's like free to use. I'm good. Like I said, I need to double check. But there are some sites that claim as long as you give like credits or something, it's okay. However, what I've seen in like the past is certain images popping up on different sites. Oh dear. Am I gonna have to get that looked at? Hold on, I need to pause. Let me finish my thought process and then I'm gonna vent to you about something. So, because I've seen that, I don't know if it's the same person posting in different places, because then why would you change your username, right? And usually it's like the sites are like, oh, we'll just give credit and it's fine if they say anything at all. So theoretically, you think they'd be safe. I don't know for sure. So I'm gonna try to find sources like the Smithsonian one and try to use those, because I knew it wasn't gonna be all collage work. I did know I wanted to do like some maybe 3D modeling and like sketching and drawing in my own stuff. So it was a mixed media sort of ordeal. I believe I covered that in like the first part of this. So the reason I guess it feels so overwhelming to start this list is because it's like I'm gonna have to find bits and bobs for everything. And I tried breaking up it some, but I'm looking at it, I'm just like, it doesn't really matter. For example, like this first part, there's a sidewalk area, and then you have the antique store exterior. And technically they're down the same road, but like when it comes to like the sidewalk, what I see in my head, it's like you're looking down the sidewalk. But when I see the antique store, it's not off to the side. You're looking at the antique store. So I can't reuse the sidewalk and just plop the antique store on top of it. Not with like how I see things in my head. Because I kind of feel like for the vibe or feeling of certain images, you're going to have certain angles, and I'm going to have to make a brand new image. So, and some people might do that. Some people might just take something and then like put something into it to represent the next scene. But in my head, so many of these, I have different angles involved. Especially like the closer you get to the end of an area, the more dramatic some stuff gets. And I'm just like, am I taking on too much as one person? And I think that's why I'm stuck for right now. I don't know if I'm doing too much, if I'm looking at this wrong, and there is a way I could do this and it not be as like grandiose problematic as I think. And I don't know. I don't know. Because what I could do, I mean, that would work. Okay. So there's another program I tend to use, and some people who are into VTuber stuff might have heard of it. It is this program called Doll Play. And you can just bring a model into it and pose it around, and you can add other like basic 3D models, images, stuff like that to make essentially a whole scene. So I'm wondering, should I do it that way, where I build scenes and then take the pictures I need inside to match what's going on? Maybe that would work? Because some areas, like I said, it's just the angle's different. I could potentially make that whole like outside area where the sidewalk is, with the like antique store down it, and then because the bus stop, which is kind of like at least a major key point technically, is farther down from it. So I'm wondering if maybe I could try that. Gosh, it feels like so much, because some areas like the Graham Great Hall is literally a hallway. That's a room. You're not a room. You're a room? This is the whole thing. So some of these are rooms, and some of these are like a general area that needs extra uses. So I'm not sure how to tackle this, and that's probably what I'm gonna figure out for the week. So I don't think I'm gonna have all too much to show, but I did want to give like an update. I think this will just be this week's update. I'm gonna go ahead and just post it for the day. Today is Tuesday for me, so in case I mess up, right, again, I can double check and make sure this is up by Friday, because I said I wanted to get one out a week, even if it's just a small little update like this. And sorry, there's something in my eye. And oh my god, my brain's mush. It's going to mush. Hold on, I need to reset. So I wanted to make sure I had something weekly by Friday, not on Friday. And I've already goofed. So I want to make sure this is definitely up. But that's the next thing, is figuring out how I'm going to tackle what kind of system I'm going to set up for myself to tackle all these pictures. That's what I need to decide on. And then once I figure out how I'm tackling them, I need to decide if every area just has a representation. Like, some scenes are gonna need that, what I need for that scene. So some things mad. I did this to myself. I knew this. Like, it's one of those things, like, I knew, but now I'm actually having to deal with it. And I hate that. If I look at it in these small little blobs I've sort of broken up, maybe it's not so bad. But, like, and I know some of the stuff, I'm not making 3D models for some of this stuff. There might be some things that in my head will just look good in the scene 3D, but that's a lot. And having the characters be 3D will have them stand out more. But doing, am I gonna have to test run a scene? Am I gonna test run a scene and see if I like it? How mixed I want the media to be. I think that's what I'm gonna have to do. And I hate that. And it's annoying. Because I can't see it in my head, right? So, anyway, I want to rant to you about the thing that I had to pause for real quick, and then I might go back to rambling on about this. I'll wrap it up. So for some fuck all reason, I'm thinking there had to have been something there once before, and it got taken out and never got put back in, because it makes no fucking sense the way it's set up. So we live in a pretty old apartment right now. And in the closet underneath the AC unit, there's a pipe. And this pipe is connected to a different pipe that is like connected to other people's pipes. So everyone's like sink and stuff drains. I think it's like sink and the AC units, when they condensate, drain into this pipe. The bathroom stuff is on a different pipe. So what happens, right? Because the stupid dumbass pipe, the neighboring people, and maintenance has pointed out who it most likely is. One of our neighbors, for some fucking reason, fries like everything in grease, and they more than likely seem to be possibly pouring it down their drain, and eventually it sits there, coagulates, and it blocks the pipe. Because there's this pipe that's open, it is open, right, to the pipe that we are all connected to. I don't know why it itself isn't plugged into something. It's not. It's just an open pipe that comes up straight out of the floor. Sometimes you can hear gurgling from it. Usually that means I'm gonna have to call maintenance soon before it gurgles up to the point it overflows, because the pipe is clogged. Or it is currently in the process of clogging. So I will probably have to call them tomorrow. I'm thinking it's gonna make it through the night, because it's not that long. Usually when it's long, that means a lot more water has backed up. But it was only a couple seconds, like 1 or 2 seconds. I had it and I'm like, fuck. That's why I had to pause to hear how long it was. But I should just go ahead and call it in. I'm gonna call it in sometime tomorrow. For me, it's late. For me, it's late. Honestly, I don't understand. Because I understand needing access, but why is nothing like screwed to the top of it? Because in my head, right, it makes sense. You have this open fucking pipe. Why has nothing been attached to the top of it that it like has some kind of tube that flows into a container? So if it does overflow, it's not all over the fucking apartment. And then you can pop it off when you need to actually get down into the pipe. I don't know why it's not set up that way, which is why in my head I'm like, there's no way it's been an open pipe this whole time. At some fucking point, with how old this building was, someone had to put something on it, and when they renovated stuff, it got taken off and not put back. Like you can't tell me this apartment building. It's like, I think it's like, it's at least half a century at this point. It's been around. How has no one dealt with this pipe? It makes no fucking sense. I'm probably not making much, like, it's probably not making sense how I'm describing it. It is literally just an open pipe. It comes up out of the floor, and my AC unit has like a catch, like the drip pan, it catches the condensation, and it has like a tube connected to it that it just sits in the pipe. It's not connecting to it. It just drops into the pipe and it's just open. And it's stupid and I hate it. The only real thing for me that's wrong with this apartment is that pipe. Everything else I'm fine with, but that pipe gives me a level of fucking anxiety. When it first happened, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? What the hell is this? Because I didn't think anything of it. Like, when I first initially saw it, I'm like, oh, well, maybe it doesn't lead to anything. Maybe stuff used to be plugged up to it, and they redid stuff in the wall, and they just didn't cut this pipe out for some reason. Maybe they, like, in case they needed it for something, it's hooked up to something else. Because in my head, I couldn't process, why would you just leave this open? And especially when it gets bad, you can, if you open a closet and you get close enough to it, you can fucking smell it. I hate it. And I don't know if, I mean, I'm thinking about it, but I don't know what I put on the pipe. I'm thinking, like, because in my head, it's like, get something like a gas can almost, not like a jerry can situation, and have something that, like, because like something, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm rumbling on about this fucking pipe. I have thoughts in my head, but I don't know why I'd get the material to do it. That way, if it does fill up, I can hear it pouring into something instead of spilling all over the floor. Because I don't want to necessarily, because really that's all it is. If I just had something that covered it tightly, and it went up into a tube, that was my cat coming down from a high place. I have a bucket. We just have a bucket for something else that from our old apartment, we brought this bucket. I don't even remember. But I could just have the tube go into the bucket and that'll catch it, right? That's all I need. Where'd my cat go? I don't know where she went. She walked off somewhere, I guess. Anyway, I need to stop rambling. I just wanted to give you a small update of where I am currently in the process. I'm taking a break from making the models because I don't know if I like the models. And I need to reset my model. I tabbed too quickly and it tabbed my whole model. Hold on. There we are. But yeah, I'm taking a break from the 3D models because I don't know if I like the artistic direction with that, to sort of figure out what the world looks like, and maybe that'll help me place my people in the world. I don't know. Worst case, I'll get more stuff done and figured out. So this week is a lot of thinking and test and planning. That I already showed you how long it takes me to do the fucking face of a model. So I really don't want to do a bunch of models. The clothes can take about the same length of time depending on what my goal is, right? So I just didn't want to put all that time into more models. And I'm like, actually, no. Because now I'm thinking, do I stick with the anime aesthetic? Because there's like some... I feel like the main thing for this game is the weird quadrinkle, like, aesthetic moment kind of stuff. And the romance was sort of thrown in there. The romance was originally supposed to be bigger, and I didn't. It was more so the weird quadrinkle stuff has my heart right now, and that's where my attention went. So like, on the one hand, it's like, it kind of has otome vibes to it because of the love stuff. So I'm like, well, maybe I should leave them a little, like, anime inspired. But because of the weird quadrinkle stuff, I'm like, should I make their models weirder? And now I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm just gonna have to I'm gonna have to find inspiration. Like, what do I want this to look like in full? And I'm just gonna have to test stuff out together. And I think that's what the rest of my week is gonna be. However, I have a part-time job outside the apartment now. So gradually some of my days are gonna have to go towards that. So I don't know how that's gonna affect me moving forward. I'm doing orientation stuff this Thursday, which is why I also just wanted to go ahead and make sure I did an update for the week. So I'm just like, ugh. At least I get to hang around pretty close. But I'm hoping I get a little farther with this. I can get this off the ground enough. And I'll be honest, I think I brought this up in a different part. I've been thinking about it, right? Like opening up some means of financial support for this game so then I don't have to do this part-time job. But it's a responsible thing to do, right? I was doing stuff here at the apartment for a while, but it's just not making enough. So taking on this part-time job, which it should help better than what I was doing online. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up. Somehow I rambled about not knowing what I'm gonna do next and a pipe for almost 30 minutes. And I'm sorry. You probably sat here looking for something else, but this is what you got. So yeah, I might start using the post as well. If for some reason, if there's a week where I'm really not able to get something recorded, I might use the community post function here on YouTube to get updates out, or at least let you know what happened that I couldn't get a video update out, right? So that is now also on the table because I want to get this done. I have big hopes and dreams for this boy. I'm not expecting it. Am I? A part of me says I should, right? I should expect big old great wonderful things. I shouldn't be so modest. That's something I've been working on, is I tend to hold myself back because I feel how do I word this? I guess somewhere along the line I've been taught a bit too much modesty and being too humble. You don't want to ruffle feathers or draw too much attention to yourself. So I instinctively want to be I'm expecting people to be oh, it's okay, it's good, it's whatever, right? Instead of, I want to be more positive and a bit more brazen with it. I want to become one of those people who just believe that it's gonna work. Because, shocker, I've been getting into more spiritual, manifestation kind of stuff. And it's a combination of, I do want things to turn out better, and I do want to be more positive, and I do want to actually sound like I believe in myself. I look back on the way I speak and I'm just yeah, I really sell myself short in some aspects because I've been taught to be too humble and modest and stuff. And I think that holds me back because something in my head's oh, you don't want to do too much. You don't want to get you don't want to draw too much attention, stuff like that. And I don't think that's doing me any good. That's not doing me any favors. I don't think it ever really has. The most you get is oh, she's sweet and quiet, that kind of stuff. Okay, compliments are nice, but I'm not getting anywhere in life being like this. So I'm gonna state it here. This game is going to find its targeted audience and is going to thrive. And I'll let the universe do with that as it will. Anyway, Until then, I guess.